Seminar. Thank you all for coming. We're excited about convening again. And just for your calendars, this month, because of we're having two events. The second one is on April 29th, and we'll be looking at the reauthorization of the Child Nutrition Act. So that's 29th at 8:30 in the morning right here. So I'm pleased to announce that this morning Mayor de Blasio announced three new initiatives around food. The first is to ensure that by the end of his term, no New Yorker goes to bed hungry. The second is to ensure that healthy, affordable food is available to every New Yorker. And the third is to commit the resources of the city government to use all available legal means to discourage the promotion of unhealthy food related to dietary diseases. It's April 1st, folks. But isn't it sad? Isn't it sad in the richest city in the world that those eminently sensible policy goals should be not the reality? And the topic of our session today is to explore what would it take to have a municipal government, a public sector in food committed to achieving those goals. And we hope the discussion today will inspire all of us to think about what would it take to make such three policy announcements a reality. I thought I'd start by showing some pictures, then I'll introduce the speakers and turn it over to them. So I'm going to show you some images of what the public sector looks like. This is a food market just a few blocks from here in 1948 that was owned and operated by the city. And maybe we'll hear a little more from our first speaker about the origin and function of these public markets. These are the questions I hope we'll be able to grapple with in our session today. And this is part of an effort by the New York City Food Policy Center at Hunter College to begin an examination of the public sector in food and what it would take to strengthen its role in achieving reductions in food insecurity, diet-related diseases, unsustainable practices, and to contribute to economic development in a more sustained and coordinated way. So this is the Hunts Point Food Distribution Center, which includes the produce market, the meat market, and the new Fulton Fish Market, all located. And this 113 acres is owned by New York City and leased by the Economic Development Corporation to the various cooperatives and entities that are based at Hunts Point. These are some of the green markets operated by Grow New York City, which is I guess a quasi-public agency that plays a very strong role in the farmers' markets in New York City and has really been instrumental in expanding them in the recent years. A few blocks north of here, La Marqueta, a public market that has a long history and is now struggling to define a role for itself as East Harlem gentrifies, but also continues to experience high levels of poverty and diet-related disease and food insecurity. Also owned and leased by the city. These are some initiatives of the New York City Health Department that show the municipal role, and we'll hear a little more about this in the program. The restaurant grading, the green carts, the public education campaigns, and calorie labeling. And still another critical part of the public role in food are the benefit programs. This shows the increases in SNAP enrollment in New York City by borough over the last few years. And we also know that WIC is an important public program that provides additional access to food. So these are some of the images that constitute the public sector in food. Our first speaker, I'm going to introduce the three speakers and then turn it over to them. Our first speaker is Babette Audand, and she's an assistant professor of culinary arts at Kingsborough Community College and the executive director of their Center for Economic and Workforce Development, and wrote her doctoral dissertation at CUNY on the history of public markets in New York City, which is what she'll be talking about. Our second speaker is Kristine Johnson from the New York City Department of Health. She's an assistant commissioner in the Chronic Diseases and Health Promotion Unit, did I get that approximately right? And oversees their food initiatives. And she'll be talking about the role of city government in food here in New York City, providing an overview. And these two speakers are setting the stage for our third speaker, Debbie Fields, who comes to us from Toronto. Thank you for making the trip down to New York, where she's one of the founders and the executive director of Food Share, a food organization in Toronto that's played a leading role in expanding the public and nonprofit sector. And she'll be talking about what does public food look like in some other cities, in Canada and Brazil, and what's the rationale for strengthening the public sector in food. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Babette.